All right, everyone, this is Will from the Think Different podcast, back ready for another episode today, and this is all about Apple Pay. So the question is, what is Apple Pay? Well, if you're brand new to Apple Pay, this is for you. The whole point of this slideshow or / keynote is to educate you a little bit about Apple Pay. Even if you already know some things about it, we're going to have a nice Q&A at the end of some questions that I looked up just for myself of knowing Apple Pay. So we wanted to give you a quick look at Apple Pay, what it is, how it works, and also dive into the Apple Card as well. So let's get started with Apple Pay. The whole concept behind Apple Pay is that it's replacing your physical cards and cash. It's trying to be your all-in-one wallet for everything. And as long as a website or a location can take Apple Pay, you can pay with this, and lately it has been much easier to do this. It allows easy, secure transactions on apps as well. Plus, as we talked about on the web, if you have a Mac and you have Touch ID, you have the ability to use Apple Pay. You can also send and receive money using messages in Apple Cash. So for my wedding business, as an example, clients are paying me through our iMessage and sending me payments through there, which has been very valuable because Venmo, who I used to go to, is kind of lately trying to track down those businesses that aren't paying their fees. But if I use Apple Pay, well, it works. Finally, all this is set up in your wallet app. So you just add your credit card or debit card in your wallet app on your iPhone, and it doesn't take very long. And the approval process is all about the companies. Every company is different. Some people will just approve you. Some people will require you to make a phone call. It really is different for all different companies. So the easiest for me was Amex when I was using it. You also get all your card's rewards and benefits. So you still get everything that your card provides as part of your card. You get to have that. And it takes 4 easy steps to do this. So let's talk about those steps right now. First off, you're going to open the wallet app. If this is the first time you're opening it up, you will see a plus sign on the top right corner that will allow you to set up a new card. When you do that, it'll ask you what available cards you would like to do. Do you want to apply for an Apple Card, which we'll talk about? You can add an Apple account. So if you have another Apple account, maybe that's separate from your Apple ID, you can add it. You could do a debit or credit card, a transit card. So now that's a new feature that you can do a transit card, plus driver's license or state ID, which right now, as of this recording, is only Arizona and Maryland as of this point. I live in New Jersey, so we're probably a little bit far away from that, but that's pretty exciting because at that point you won't need anything except your phone, which is crazy. Once you scan the card, you get like a screen that pops up that almost looks like like you're taking a photo. And when you do that, you will just scan the card. And then once you scan the card, it'll try to grab as much information. It'll then go through the bank instructions. And then as long as you've been approved, it's ready to go. Some companies now, actually, what's really great is if you sign up for a credit card, you can add it right to your wallet right away. Like I know that happened with Citibank recently. And I was able to use my Apple right on my wallet app right before my card even got here. So some credit cards will let you set up wallet right away. You can use Apple Cash with Apple Pay, which allows you to get a credit that's basically almost like rewards. So it is rewards that you can use just like if you have rewards on your card, except you can use this at locations. It's a Visa card that is almost like a spending card, or like one of those what are they called, like those, those cards you get for like gifts. It's kind of like that. Apple Cash is a digital card that's in the wallet. It stores cash you want to send or receive in the wallet or messages. If you are planning to use Apple Pay, you need to look out for the 2 symbols on the screen. Add the Apple Pay symbol and then the NFC chip symbol, which is the contactless payment symbol when you check out. In order to use Apple Pay, you have to have Touch ID or Face ID set up. So there are other requirements besides just that. You have to have some kind of a passcode on your phone. So if you're not using a passcode, well, you're not going to be able to do this. So you will need to set one up. And you will need to use Touch ID or Face ID or even the security code you have set up to pay. All transactions are safe and secure. Apple Pay uses a device-specific number and a unique transaction code, so that your card number is never stored on your device or on the Apple servers. It's a very unique way on how this works. So every time you pay, it's almost like a different number, 16-digit number is going through every single time, and that no one has this information, not even Apple. I think only your bank has the authority to do it. When you pay, your card numbers are never shared with the merchants, which is why I think this has taken off as fast as it has. And now you see Google Wallet, Samsung, they all have the same thing. A couple of security things that work with it is that when you're paying with a debit or credit card, Apple Pay does not keep transaction info that can be tied back to you. Apple Pay works right from your device, so you can avoid touching buttons and terminals, so that's great for us COVID eras. Apple Pay uses a device-specific number and a unique transaction code, so your card number is never stored on your device or on Apple servers. So it kind of goes back to our previous slide talking about the uniqueness of how it's a random generated number that no one knows and no one really needs to know except your bank. So that's a little bit about Apple Pay, but let's talk a little bit about Apple Card. This is the card that was just introduced a few years ago. And Apple Card is a Goldman Sachs MasterCard. So MasterCard's pretty much accepted everywhere, and that you apply using your iPhone. So going back to where we were in the Wallet app, if you look in there, you will see an option to add an Apple Card there. You can add an Apple Card right from there and apply for it, and you get to be approved pretty quickly. There are no fees, no annual, over the limit, foreign transaction, or late fees. That's right, there are no late fees on this, which makes it so interesting. Interest rates are among the lowest on the industry. Just make sure you pay your bill every month. That's all I got to say, folks. That way you don't have to worry about paying anything extra. When making a payment with the Apple Card, it estimates the interest you will wind up paying based on the payment amount you choose. If you pay the balance up each month, no interest is incurred. And then Ultimate Daily Cashback. Ultimate Daily Cashback is one of the unique features I love about this, because a lot of times you have to wait for your transactions after 1 month and then you finally get them in your account. For example, I have an Amex card right now that I get 6% cash back on groceries, but I have to wait until the cycle is complete to get that cash back. Where Apple, they give it to you immediately, which is really neat. So I'm looking through my history right now, like the last couple of things I have here. For example, I went to Sesame Place. It gives me a breakdown, and I even have the transaction ID right there, and I used Apple Cash to pay for it. I just went to Wawa as an example, and I have a transaction right there. So it keeps a record of all my different transactions in a list under the recent transactions, and then you can also see it based on year. And this kind of breaks that down. So when you buy something using the Apple Card, you get a percentage of your purchase back on daily cash. So you can look on your daily cash card and see what you received in your account. It usually tells you the percentage that you also get back with that as well. It's real cash that never expires or loses its value. Your cash is deposited right into your Apple Cash card in the Wallet app. One thing we probably haven't talked over is how do you actually activate on a iPhone that has Face ID. You just hit the side button, your sleep button, do 2 times. It'll bring up the card, and you can also set up a default card. If you go into the settings app into Wallet, you can actually tell the device what you want it to be as your main card. So you get to pick one card that you want to be your default card. So if you go into Wallet and Apple Pay and settings, you will see the default card in there. You can use Apple Cash to make a payment on your balance, pay back a friend, or send it straight to your bank account. So Apple Cash can be used to pay others if you like to pay, if you are a really good friend. You can make a payment on your balance using the Apple Cash. Now, I personally never do that, but that is something you could do. Part of the perks of being a Apple Card Cash member, you get 3% daily cash back when you buy Apple products. So anything you buy Apple-wise, and that includes iCloud, Apple Music, it includes all those items that are related to Apple. So when you want to buy, for example, I paid about maybe, $3,000 for this 16-inch MacBook Pro I'm recording on right now, and I got like $150, $200 in cash back with it. So it was a pretty good deal. So on top of me trading in my computer, I got this cash back, which is great. So I thought it kind of gave me another $100 to $50 technically off. So that was a nice little perk. And any other items you make purchase with the Apple Card, you will get 2% back if you use the Apple Card. Now, it's about average to what most banks give you. So Apple doesn't really give you a perk for signing up for it, which, a lot of companies will do. That's probably the one drawback I will say about the card, is that you don't get anything. I would say the convenience is that you get the daily cash back automatically. So if you want to look at that as a perk. But there are also other ways to get 3% cash back. There are promotions that are actually going around, and these are just some right now that we have. So Dwayne Reed, Walgreens, Ace Hardware, Panera Bread, ExxonMobil. So obviously gas is crazy right now during this time. So all these different merchants, and there are more out there, and sometimes they're different depending on the season. They will give you that. And I think it'll be very valuable to see what the options are for the Apple Card. So look around, see what works regarding using the Apple Card. All right, there were a couple questions that I wanted to look up about Apple Pay, and I kind of want to answer them, but we'd like you to leave comments below if you have anything you want to add to this entire keynote. One of them was, what devices support Apple Pay? If you want to fully use Apple Pay, here are the requirements: that you need to have an iPhone 6 or an iPhone 6 Plus, and anything beyond that goes there. Also, there are iPads that have the ability to do this as well. Now, you're not going to take your iPad to the supermarket, but you can pay for things online or through the app using Apple Pay. Another question is, how is this different from other contactless systems? So right now on your card, you have the ability to do contactless pay. The most noticeable will be the use of the fingerprint ID sensor or the Face ID. Right now it's easy for someone just to take a plastic card and just bring it out and just put it up there. Anybody could do that. The idea of the Face ID and the Touch ID is to prevent someone from trying to use your finger or your identity to pay for it. So that's why, as much as the contactless feature of the card itself is great, it's still, anybody could steal that card, go to a terminal and use it, where Apple Pay requires your information of your phone to get into it. What about some of the new features of iOS 16 coming out? I thought there was a couple things that they did talk about in the Wallet app, and I thought this would be valuable to go over. So there's something called Apple Pay Later, which allows you, if you check out with Apple Pay, that you could split your Apple Pay purchase into 4 equal payments over 6 weeks. I just recently used this feature in Amazon. They have something very similar where you can buy something, especially at a higher cost, and you can split the payment over time. It'll track when you owe it, it'll track what you owe and when you owe it. Also, they're going to be adding ID cards are going to be supported, and this is more on the Apple Wallet side, but allows you to share your ID information in apps that require identity and age verification. Apps will only request information needed to complete the transaction. Apple Cash is getting a little bit of an upgrade, is that you will be able to easily review your latest purchase payments and daily cash deposits with a new filter for most recent transactions. Also, key sharing is coming into the wallet, so if you want to share keys like to a hotel room. And then also how you view your Apple Daily Cash will be done a little differently. You can view the lifetime daily cash you received and track your progress forward. So I would be curious to know what I actually have used in total. Another one that I found out on my own was on the Apple Watch. Do you need your phone to use Apple Pay? Because remember, in order to use Apple Pay on the watch, you have to set it up on your phone typically. Well, the good thing I found out was there was a day I have the Wi-Fi version. I don't have the cellular version, but I was able to use my Apple Watch without my phone being even with me. So it was home. It was turned on, but it was home, and I was able to just double press the button, pay for it no problem, and I thought that was great. So yes, the Apple Watch will work on its own, even with the Wi-Fi model. I know the cellular is obvious, but the Wi-Fi model will work. I think as long as your phone's on, it'll let you do it. So I hope this was very valuable to you guys. Please leave us any feedback below on this subject. I think Apple Pay is very valuable. I hope you learned something from it. If you have any questions in the comments, please leave them. We respond to every comment. I'm Will from the Think Different podcast, and I want to thank Frank for putting this amazing keynote together for you guys. We are equal partners in this, and we appreciate all the love and support, and I love every single one of you.